I feel comfortable with the suffering because I feel like I have a direction and an objective. I mean, what's more frustrating? A video game where you can't beat the final boss? Or when you play those games and you get lost? Those are the games that piss me off more than the game where I'm trying to beat the guy I can't beat. So I think when you accept that suffering is part of life, you get good at suffering and then you get good at things. If you're going to go through the world trying to make the world sufferless, you're going to suffer more than anything. How successful you are in life is directly correlated to your stress tolerance. Forget IQ. Forget most nearly anything. If you're the guy who can deal with more stress than anyone else, you're going to end up in the position where you're dealing with more stress than anyone else. And those positions, one way or another, pay you. Because that's the only way you can even separate yourself from the labor market in general. You're going to put yourself in a very stressful place. You need to start seeing beyond the confines of your comfort, because that's what you're enslaved by. You'd be up here with me if you were brave. When is the last time you made a brave decision? If you've done nothing brave that you can mention instantly off the top of your head, then what you need to do is something brave quickly. You lack the balls it takes in many scenarios to get rich or die trying. People in the ghetto already have the fire. The poor understand what it's like to be taken advantage of, and the poor understand what happens when you have no money and no food. You don't. When you're poor, let me tell you something poor people do all the time. You imagine how it would feel to have this car, how it would feel to be in this place, how it would feel to go to Saint-Tropez and live on a yacht, how it would feel to not have to worry about food anymore. Not only do you lack motivation, you lack imagination. That's why boxers start poor. They're prepared to do anything it takes. They have hunger and fire inside of them. So it's extremely important you develop your imagination as well as your fire. Most of you are not actively building a future. And then you expect it to just appear. Do you know why? Because when you were born in the middle, your parents put food in the fridge. It just appeared. People at the bottom, we understand that nothing is going to come to us unless we go out there and get it ourselves. You need to cultivate a lifestyle which is going to endlessly give you fire inside of your heart so that you never struggle with motivation ever again. If smoking weed kills your fire, don't smoke weed. If drinking booze kills your fire, don't drink booze. What's going to make me as motivated as possible? Look at every facet of your life and develop a lifestyle which is going to give you endless fire, because without it, you are going to lose. The fire inside of your heart makes you hard to kill. It's the fire inside of your heart that makes you uncrushable. It is extremely important that you are never in a position where you lack motivation ever again. And these things are conscious choices you make by changing your lifestyle. You have to go out there and do things. God wants to see you take care of what he has given you.
If I'm having a hard day, I never sit and think I need to talk to this person. Even if I have like my brother and some people I'll talk to, I don't go to anyone for support. I don't turn to people for support. I don't turn to my woman for support. What am I looking for? Sympathy? Sympathy ain't gonna buy me money, ain't gonna put the money in the bank. I don't turn to people for support or comfort. I'm not trying to brag or put on like a brave face and be a tough guy or something. It's just not how I'm conditioned. I believe that all of my problems are gonna be fixed by me. Nobody else is going to be prepared to go through what it takes to fix them but me.
There is nothing more destructive to the male psyche than sitting down and complaining and crying about your problems to somebody who has their own problems. You are dulling your sword because you're complaining that your own sword might cut you, but it's your sword that cuts your enemies. God gave you all of these difficult situations so that you could challenge yourself and you could find the best way to navigate them and stay sane, so that you can become a better version of yourself. And instead of learning lessons, instead of being thankful to God for the difficult things he's put you through, you instead go and cry to some human, fallible creature. And they don't try and make you feel better about what happened. They try and just justify your terrible reaction to said events. Because there's only one true human emotion that should come from negative scenario, which is anger. Angry gets something done. Sad? That's just sitting around hoping others feel sorry for you. Sad belongs in the therapy room. But anger belongs out here in the world. Focused anger. I'm not saying you start smashing your head against the wall like an idiot. I'm saying that like a focused concentration of water through a dam can power a city. You should focus it in the exact direction it needs to go to solve the problem. If you're poor, get angry. Don't get angry at the world you're poor. Get angry at yourself because you can't afford all the things you want. I don't need therapy. I self-therapize with anger because anger makes me brave. And my bravery has allowed me to grab demons by the neck. People say to me, oh, I have anxiety. You have anxiety over stupid shit. Keep your anxiety demon. And now have anxiety that you're not rich. Get to the point where you can't sit still and watch Netflix and eat ice cream because you are too anxious about the fact that you don't have $100 million. You might start doing some work. I have OCD. You have OCD over dumb shit like arranging your Star Wars figurines. You should have OCD about getting your life in order, about being in the gym on time, about training harder than everyone around you, about getting some money in your bank. I would argue that Elon probably has OCD. That's how he managed to get a rocket into space. And you're saying your OCD prevents you from fucking washing the dishes because you're a fuck up and you are a failure. I publicly state that I have anxiety. I have governments try to kill me, getting thrown in and out of jail at random, all of my assets seized. I have anxiety, but I use my anxiety so that I wake up at 6:15 a.m., instantly enraged, getting to work so I win. You have dulled your sword, so you have nothing to threaten the demons with. When anxiety turns up, you cower with your little weak, dull sword. I pull my blade and say, you now work for me. I have depression. I have OCD. I have all of it. These demons work for me. If you're at home complaining, I have OCD, I have anxiety, I have depression, you need to get these demons in check. They are your weapons against mediocrity.
I swear to you, gentlemen, if you make sure that your actions, your intention, your will, and your thoughts is true, the world is absolutely and utterly open for your complete conquest. It is easy to become rich. It's easy to have beautiful females. It's easy to have any car you want, go anywhere you want. Nobody's going to mess with you. You're going to become ultimately powerful.
10 years ago, who did you know with a Lamborghini? Or an Aston Martin? Or a Ferrari? I remember when I was about 23, 24. I was on the M25, and there was a Ferrari 360 stopping traffic. Everybody was slowing down to look at it. Everyone was circling around this car. There was an older white guy driving it. He must have been about 65 plus. He was smiling because everyone was paying so much attention. That's a 360 Ferrari all that time ago. Now, everyone has a Ferrari. Everybody has a Ferrari. Everyone has a nice Audi Q7 or an RS7, RS5. Everyone has a Lambo. Everyone has a Bentley. Everyone has a Rolls Royce. 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't name one person with a fast car. Now, you personally know somebody with a car worth $200,000 to $300,000 minimum. So if the world's getting so much richer, which it clearly is, because more people have more stuff than ever. I know more people with fast cars. I know more people with yachts. The world's getting so much richer, but at the same time, everyone's complaining about how poor they are. Why? Well, that's because the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. There's not going to be any middle anymore. The whole idea of the middle class has evaporated. You're either positioned in a way where you're going to benefit from the endless printing, the inflation, and the government screwing over the common man, or you're positioned in a way where you're the common man bending over, getting fucked. There is no in-between anymore. Have-nots, have-yots. Every day is going to get worse and worse. What's funny is, if you're a poor person, you look around and think, man, everyone's struggling. But if you're a rich person, you look around and think, everyone's making so much money. All of my millionaire friends have made more money this year than the year before. How, in such a struggling economy, is everybody earning twice as much as they earned the year before? Nobody with a job is getting paid twice as much. Your wages haven't doubled. Anybody with their own company is earning twice as much as before. It is so easy to get rich if you're in the right place. And the only reason for that is because Newton taught us there's an equal and opposite force. The reason it is easy for the rich to get richer is because if you're a normal person, you are getting fucked. And your chance of ever being wealthy or middle class or having a pretty good life, if you just stick along the path that the normal middle class people take, is basically zero. So there's two islands with a river in the middle. One island's full of rich people, they're getting richer every day. One island's full of poor people who are getting poorer every day. And each day that river goes wider and wider. It grows to the point where it changes from a river to a lake, and eventually it'll be an ocean. You won't be able to get across it. You won't be able to pass it. You'll be stuck on the island you're on. So now you've accepted there's never going to be anybody who's doing okay. There's never going to be middle class. That for you to have a nice life, meaning a nice car, a nice house, nice education for your children, a few holidays, and to not be stabbed to death because you're not living in a shithole, you need to be a millionaire. You need to be a millionaire to have the most basic things that middle-class person could have only 10 years ago. That's the bare minimum acceptable standard now, millionaire. Now you've accepted that, you need to make a choice. Are you going to try and swim across the river and get onto the rich people's island? Or are you going to continue to wait and hope that it's all going to work out and everything's going to be fine by itself and stay on Brokey Island as that river gets wider and wider? By the time you realize that you needed to do something, that action is the only way out, by the time you're finally implored to take genuine agency and control over your own life, that river would have grown into such a large body of water, perhaps you're going to die as you try to make the journey.
The reason I teach you how to make a lot of money is because it's the only way to have a lot of money. There's no such thing as investing your way to wealth anymore. Let's imagine you buy a house for $400,000. And let's imagine you sell it a few years later for $600,000. This is a miracle in and of itself, considering that the property markets in most places are collapsing. Why? Well, crime's out of control. Everybody with money is leaving the Western democracies because they understand it's all rigged. But let's pretend you bought a house for $400,000 and you found an idiot who will buy it off you a few years later for $600,000. You've made $200,000. Firstly, you have to pay capital gains tax on that money. Then you need to take away all the lawyer fees and all the time you spent maintaining that house, cutting the grass, and making sure the boiler works. Let's take all that away. Let's not even charge for your time. Let's just charge the money that you spent maintaining this house. Let's say you're left with $100,000. But in the last 3 or 4 years, inflation's been completely out of control. 80% of the dollars that exist were printed in the last 6 or 7 years. That $100,000 is only worth $50,000. What is $50,000? $50,000 is a 2-week holiday in the Caribbean. You cannot get rich that way. You can no longer just save. Compounding interest cannot outpace rising taxes and insane inflation. Getting 10% on your money per year means nothing because inflation's 10% minimum. They're lying about the numbers. You need to make at least 20% on your money each year and show me a saving instrument that's going to provide that for you. The only way to have a lot of money is to make a lot of money. There is no such thing as having a good, stable job and saving and being diligent and 401k and compounding interest, and eventually you're going to have money. Not anymore. The problems I just described are going to get worse. Crime is going to go up. Even harder to sell your house. It's impossible now, and we're on path for it to become more impossible. Nothing is going to get better. Your only chance of having money is to make a lot of money. So, I ask you, what is your plan? Because a job won't make you rich. Buying a house won't make you rich. Saving won't make you rich. Getting a degree won't make you rich. AI is replacing everybody anyway. You want to keep gambling on meme coins? We saw how that all went. There is no other way. The only chance you have of having a lot of money is to find a way to make a lot of money in a disruptive industry like artificial intelligence, something online. Act now, move now, make money now before everyone else catches on. Because by the time everyone else catches on, there's no money in it. Just like Bitcoin, just like everything else. So you need to learn something new that may only make money for a month. You need to be there first, make money for that month, and then you can buy Bitcoin.
Sometimes when the tide has run against you for a long time, it may be that what you held as a certainty was in fact not true. It's not only right, it's also smart to be able to see more than one way to accomplish a task. It's wise to see more than one solution to any problem. Because when the plan that served you so well for so long doesn't work anymore, then it's time to find another way. It's time to move on, to change. Or you'll risk snapping like a dead branch in a stiff breeze.